It's Lucy and Jeff going for walks and talk about banksters and Bitcoin and the apocalypse and stuff. It's Lucy and Jeff and tacos and kisses.
Hey Lucy, you hear the GameStop's down like 200 bucks? Oh no, I didn't hear that. But I didn't buy any. I only buy Doge. I only hold Doge. Doge is for us dogs. Other than that, I'm all about the tacos and giving kisses. Yeah, so GameStop is down like to about $100 today. It was over $300 like yesterday. So that might be the end of that, but we'll see. I've actually got a number of questions about this whole Wall Street bets thing in general. And the reason is, for the most part, that if something gets really covered by the mainstream media, it's usually some sort of Psyop. Because that's the mainstream media in the US is all CIA. This has been since the 70s, I believe. What was it, Operation Mockingbird or something? There's so many operations I can't keep up. Don't you love government? All they do is try to, well, first they extort you for most of your money. They tell you what to do. They claim to own you. And in their spare time, they just come up with millions of ways to confuse you, fool you, trick you, kill you. Yeah, I don't know why people still want governments, but apparently there's still a few left. But as I was saying, I always get a little bit, because it's been kind of covered quite a bit by the mainstream media. Now, there could be a reason for that. Wall Street's bets could be totally legit, and they could have almost taken down the entire stock market. And so they do have to cover that, right? And at the same time, they kind of do like this angle that, all these people, they're all, well, the Wall Street bets people themselves call themselves autistic degenerates. But the mainstream media is like always, oh, these are like right-wing types, or well, they always have to, oh my God. I don't watch television for obvious reasons. It's all propaganda, but every now and then I see a clip, and I couldn't believe this one. This is Jimmy Kimmel. Apparently he's supposed to be funny. And this is not funny at all. But what does he blame the Wall Street bets thing on? Russian infiltrators.
GameStop, if you don't know, it's a video game store, and like a lot of businesses, they've been struggling because of COVID, but also because most people buy games online now. And yet, despite a sharp decline in sales, over the past 6 months, their stock price has grown by 8,000%, because a bunch of amateur investors, maybe even some Russian disruptors who are part of a Reddit community called Wall Street Bets, decided to buy a bunch of GameStop stock.
Yeah, it's always the Russians and the Nazis. It's like they think we live back in like the 1940s or something. It's the Soviets and the Nazis. But there's something a little strange about it, or maybe what it could be is they need another reason for the stock market to crash. Ed Bugos is amazing. He's one of the smartest people out there that I know, and that's why he's my partner at the door, Vigilante. And he wrote about how the whole short squeeze with Wall Street bets, and particularly at GameStop, it lost some hedge funds. There's estimates of around over 50 billion. And Ed wrote about this, that could have been very close. This bubble in stocks is wrapped so tight that anything could pop the bubble. And of course, many people say Bitcoin isn't the bubble, Bitcoin's the pin, and they're right. But it's possible because they're doing this stimulus package. Ed wrote about this, like, you can get access to amazing information. It's like $15 a month for our basic subscription. The stuff that Ed talks about, he knows more than almost anyone on most of this stuff. And he said actually that this stimulus package for $2 trillion won't go through because there's not enough stuff in Wall Street for it. It's a lot of stuff for like stimulus for the slaves and all that stuff. And so they could have been hoping even that this Wall Street bets thing could have crashed the market because it became like a liquidity crisis. This happens all the time. Just in my lifetime, just remembering there was the Argentinian bond crisis. There was something about Spain or Latin America. What was it? That almost crashed the whole system. And Ed wrote about this too back in 2008. It actually wasn't Lehman Brothers that crashed the system. It was Fannie and Freddie Mac going under, basically. So this happens all the time. And of course, the stock market's a massive bubble. And anything could almost prick it. And perhaps, at the very least, I'm just thinking out loud here, right? But they could have been thinking, okay, maybe if the stock market starts to crash because of a liquidity crisis, which they kind of want, so that the next stimulus bill will give Wall Street and the banks like $10 trillion. Yeah, that's what we're estimating they'll probably do, or more, which will definitely destroy the dollar like pretty quickly. So they could have been hoping that this could all be blamed on these right-wing, Trump-supporting not Nazis. I can't keep up with all the stupid shit they say. With the Russians to use as their excuse. So those are just some of my thoughts on the whole Wall Street bets situation, which seems to be kind of going away a little bit now with GameStop way down. It's near $100 right now. But we will see. And it's so many different sort of angles on what could be going on with all that stuff. But we'll see. Things continuing on right now. And you know, yesterday I had a video on that I didn't make a comment on that I should have. But it was this guy on, it was actually the Microsoft, Bill Gates has his own news. Like, does no one get what's going on? Like, Bill Gates has his own news. And as I was saying earlier, the CIA owns all mainstream media in the US, all of it. They run it. Anderson Cooper, he's CIA. And in other countries, it's very similar. In fact, it's even a little bit worse in some countries. They don't even try to hide it in some countries. In England, they have the British Broadcasting Corporation, which I call the British Brainwashing Corporation, which is the government news, which you have to like pay for, and they actually will come around and make sure they'll count the number of TVs in your house, and then you got to pay for their propaganda. And in Canada, the same. The Canadian Brainwashing Corporation. And there's so many brainwash status in those places that they don't even seem to have a problem with it. It's like, yeah, the people who oppress and enslave you are giving you the news. But I should make a comment. So the guy yesterday, I'll play just a little bit of that clip now.